Annyeong, and welcome to Hallyujuku, starring Brandon Cooper and myself, Petey Rave. This is episode 20, The Three Powers. Enjoy! Buenos nachos, amigos. Welcome once again to Hallyujuku. I am Petey Rave, your man with no plan. Here with me, as always, is none other than Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I am doing exceptionally well. It has been a relatively slow week in the world of Asian pop culture, or I just didn't open my browser. One of those two things happened. I'm gonna go with I didn't open my browser.
Yes, I'm gonna go with that too. One cool thing that is happening this week is that we have our first guest on Hallyujuku. We have none other than one of our best friends, one of the coolest people, one of the people that we admire, none other than Roberto Villegas. How are you doing, Roberto?
Doing good, a bit tired. We just got through South by Southwest here in Austin, Texas, and I finally, I think, have kind of recovered from everything that the week brought, but so far, doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you are with us because you're going to talk about Japan Nite later on and a couple other things at South by Southwest. And we're going to get to that, but until then, you're going to be our uninitiated, uninformed observer for our podcast. But first of all, what we do every podcast, every episode, to initiate this show is we talk to each other about what we'll be listening to and what, songs we want to talk about. And I thought I'd give you the first opportunity to talk about, an artist you wanted to feature, I think from Japan Nite, right?
Sure, yeah. She actually played last year's Japan Nite, but came back this year as kind of her own sort of solo act sort of thing. Typically during Japan Nite, someone will come back and do their thing, and that is specifically Chihiro Yamazaki and Route 14 Band, sort of a jazz act. The best way I think was explained, I'm about to open up a Facebook post done by none other than Martin Thomas of I guess of oneofus.net, formerly of Spill and things like that, because he actually pretty much summed up the best way to describe the band. I never could put it anywhere succinctly to it because he's just way better at knowing jazz than I am. So let me just pull this post really quick. So here's, imagine if Isaac Hayes and Al Hurt recruited session players from Swing Out Sister and Earth, Wind & Fire to play one final jazz concert to keep them from going to hell. But once you snuck inside to see them, it actually turned out to be the cast of the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. It is awesome jazz, rock and funk. It is was the bright shining star of last year's Japan Nite, and it was something I did not want to miss when they came back. It is so worth a listen. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Some jazz. I like a good jazz. I don't get a chance to listen to it lately, but I like a good jazz. I like a good mix of styles in music. Kaz, what have you been listening to this week?
It's rather funny that Roberto brought up Chihiro, because one of the things I have been listening to that put this artist Chihiro on my radar was Yoko Kanno and Yoko Kanno's band, the Seatbelts, and to kind of keep a theme for this week, I did all live performances, the YouTube videos will be all live performances, but the Seatbelts Tank, which is the theme to Cowboy Bebop, which is an amazing jazz song, and just so good. And Yoko Kanno is amazing when she does her jazz stuff, and this performance is just like a bring down the house performance of Tank that is really, really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Tank is just
exceptionally good.
Yeah, really fantastically good. And yeah, you gotta love this song. It's just a fantastic song. Every time you hear it right at the beginning of Cowboy Bebop, it just kind of gets you in a really good mood. But what else you got this week?
I also put in a music core performance from Today's 2 p.m. This was back in 2012, and it's their song "Tired of Waiting." I thought it's a okay performance. I really like the song, and 2PM, they kind of are really built on their performances more than anything else. Put a relatively good with a really good song, and 2PM and the girls go crazy.
The girls go gaga. Yeah, gotta make them ladies happy. Yeah. 2PM, 2PM really rocks it with their performances and their like personas.
I mean, that's what it's once again, like my favorite show, that's what they were built for, because pop bands in Korea are built.
Mm-hmm.
They do not form like Voltron. They're built like Voltron.
Yes.
The other thing I put in here is because I've been wanting to influence with more Japanese stuff, so the Yoko Kana, and then this, Hatsune Miku, The World Is Mine, the pop star that is not real, but amazing, and everyone loves her, because...
Oh, is this the virtual?
You can't not love her.
It is.
Yeah, it's a virtual.
I think they actually...
Hatsune Miku.
It's funny you bring that up. I think they actually had it this past year, and a couple years back they actually showed it off a bit more, specifically that they've been talking about this since, at least in Japan Nite, since last year. I think it was at the trade show, they actually had the guys that made the software that do that, and they talked about the whole idea of, I think there actually was even a panel on it, if I'm mistaken, too, where they talked about the idea of this virtual kind of idol act, but more of the idea that it wasn't so much that it was her act, it was that everybody else was building upon this and making this sort of virtual idol. Yeah. And that everybody could kind of participate inside of doing it. It was kind of a weird sort of thing talking with the guys creating at the time, because it's just sort of like, how do you...
Yeah.
Like for me, it's always like, how do you control copyrights, things like that? But I'll back off of that. I just want to make sure I made that comment.
They've been... in Japan, they've been infusing this into computer courses of learning the Vocaloid software. So like this is kind of becoming like the new form of something else onto technology, you know, like especially for Japan. So it only means great things.
And if you want to complain, let's be honest, her face is no less real than park bombs. To be honest.
Plastic surgery.
But moving on. I've been listening to a couple of interesting things. We talked about a cool group that kind of has been confusing. I've been listening to a lot of the same things, let's be honest. I've been listening to more Crayon Pop, more, GI, more 21, more Girls' Generation. But instead of revisiting those groups, like, if we actually said what we listened to, we'd be revisiting those groups over and over and over again. I will talk about one of the groups that has been on my radar again, Lip Service. And I've actually been listening to the other song on their album, which is really cool. I'm gonna for the video version of this, I'm playing their hit single, but their other song called Never Mind, and it is a really cool track on that album. It's kind of a really cool little like hip hop banger that has a really cool sound and really exhibits their rapping abilities. Cause the single Yum 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 is this like weird, crazy song about dieting, and this like catchy song and dance that's like hamburger, 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 Americano, and it's this ridiculousness, like this eggyo hip hop. But when you get down to like, and one of the things that attracted me from that song was still that at the core of it, they had some like legit flow to their rapping skills, and I think that really gets exhibited in the other track on the album, and I really like it. Did you get to listen to it, Brandon?
This only goes to prove my point more that this is the year of Korean hip hop. It will grow. It will finally start to get good.
Is that, wait, hold on. Is that something that you fear is not going to happen? Because from what I understand, when it comes to Korean music, the major influence at least of right now, is like R&B and hip hop and things like that.
Well, it has been at its core. It has been at its core because it all started. The modern version of Korean pop started with So Taiji and the Boys, and if you look those guys up, you get to see like a good throwback to like New Jack Swing and like that whole hip hop style, and you see that and that just came out of nowhere.
Are you saying that we're gonna start getting some Korean covers of Motown Philly?
Maybe in the future, because
probably. They may probably already exist.
Yeah.
Well, then why aren't we plugging that? Why are we not plugging Boys to Men?
Because it's old now.
It's old. We're talking about the new style. We're talking about Koreans pretending that they're hood, even though there's no hood in Korea. That's what we're talking about right now.
Sure, there's a hood. It's in the DMZ.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
That is a dangerous area.
But speaking of like the cutesy Aegyo stuff, I'm usually
speaking of dodging around Robert's comments.
Yes. Usually I'm like one to I'm not a fan of overly cutesy like images and whatnot, and overly like saccharine videos, but when it's done in kind of a sweet, honest way, I like it. And I noticed this one group that somebody put on my radar. I don't remember how, but it's a duo now. It used to be a trio. Pascal, short for Pastel Colors, with their song "Like in the Movies," and it's this kind of cute video with these girls. They're kind of together, following this couple around to see how couples interact, and I guess taking notes and trying to understand how the world of couples works. I don't know. It never really quite is stated, but it's just kind of these bunch of moments where they're being cute and funny, and it's just this really fun, catchy song that I dug, and it was just on my radar, and I really dug it. And they have this cool like popping dance sequence that I think is really cool and really creative and fun. And I love that Crayon Pop has been introducing like legit popping into the music scene, and this takes it to another, takes it further and does a really good job of it in their sequences. And I dug it. I was big popping. And also to kind of give a preview of a future episode of Record Breakers, I've talked about Love Exterior before, but I thought I'd throw another song in there because their video for Storm, as you can see right here, Love Exterior, off of that particular EP, exactly. Storm, they actually put a video out for it, and it's just a really cool video, and I just thought I'd share that just because I think Love Exterior is just a really cool group. They have a really cool style and a really cool approach, and I, like I said, I think you can go back to whatever episode I mentioned it, but that they have that extra different avenue where they could probably break in the West quicker, or at least more differently than say any K-pop group could, just because they have that different of an avenue. Instead of being this overproduced pop group, being this cool little indie group that can play clubs in the States, every week, because they're gonna tour the U.S. this year. They toured the U.S. last year. They're doing it on the regular. Like, you see this one K-pop group, they do 2 U.S. stops every 3 years. But this one, like the indie group, is doing several stops in the U.S. 2 years in a row. So I think they have a different enough avenue to really, I think, make it in the West. And I just thought I think they're really cool.
I've actually noticed that a lot about the indie Asian acts. They have a lot of better chance of making it here. Like this past South by, we obviously did have Love Exterior here as well, along with some other indie acts from Japan and Korea included. And it's funny that, when we get more into the whole talk about Japan Nite, it's funny for me and a lot of the Texas crowd, whenever those bands come, we tend to react better to a lot of the indier acts, a lot of the more underground stuff.
Yeah.
At least I do personally. It might be just that. We'll get more into that as we.
I think it ties into a couple of things. Like, it's different enough. Like I said, just like how baby metal is making it big nowadays and hitting huge. I think it's because
speaking of
creative.
Baby metal, they topped a Billboard chart.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's actually really cool. Like they topped the chart, and they're making it like. And I've seen people that are not part of chat room that are not that I didn't know would be are not even into like J-pop or K-pop or anything East Asian have posted the article of baby metal, and they're like, hey, look at these girls that making metal stuff. And like,
oh,
you know about them?
Dude, you'd be surprised how many people know about baby metal. In fact, I had the honor of talking to.
Yeah.
Well, no, I like you talk about like that. I had the actual luck and honor of kind of talking with one of the writers for Japan Times over there in Tokyo, kind of the English writers, and we had a J-pop idol act come this year, Star Marie, which is kind of very much an idol act and very much that kind of thing, and not really that. And we kept talking about it, and one of the names that came up is sort of there's apparently a movement of just like anti-idol kind of stuff going on, and kind of that clash of stuff in Japan.
Yeah.
At least because idol actors are a dime a dozen, and one of the names that came up was baby metal. Just consistently baby metal as talked about when it came to like the clash of your stereotypical idol act and then something else kind of fitting in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that a lot of people know about baby metal. It's just it seems to work out better.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just going to be really interesting to see the different acts. I think acts that are different enough making it big. But that's all for what we've been listening to. We're going to go into headlines right after this quick little stinger. All right, now we are here with our headlines. We're going to talk about a couple cool things. All right, so we've mentioned a few times Baljinso, the really cool, I guess, independent group that features, again, Casper, a character that we've mentioned a few times.
Well, independent label
group thing. And we mentioned last week a couple weeks ago that SM invested in them and things like that. Well, just recently they had actual showcase. I think a little while ago, but they actually uploaded like the whole thing, the video onto YouTube and all the performances. And I actually got to check that out. You got to check it out a little bit, right?
Yeah, I poked around in it, and I kind of spotted out the performances more than anything else, like especially more than like just kind of the middle banter and things like that. So like, I poked around, I looked at it, and it was okay, but it was very much like, all right, we're kind of doing this thing, performance, Like, it was never, to me, it never really got that hype.
Yeah.
For a hype hip hop kind of group that they're present in their videos.
For Play the Siren, because they started things off, and it's God bless her, Casper still doesn't know what to do with their hands. She was so kind of, she's such a cool kid, but fuck, she was kind of lazy on stage. Like, she was, I think, a little lost, maybe. I think she didn't quite know what to do with herself.
I couldn't tell if it was between like, is this what I'm really doing, or deer in headlights? You know what I'm saying?
Probably a little bit more of the latter. Yeah.
I'm hoping it was deer in headlights, because a lot of times she's just like, I don't. I'm like, are you fucking for real right now? like, is the backing track louder than you with the microphone in your hand?
Yeah,
no, honey, stop it.
Yeah. But yeah, they had some cool moments.
There's not a backing track that would be sad.
Yeah.
You'd actually hear them sing, really.
Yeah.
Right. At that point, lip sync.
I can't wait to talk about Japan and stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
We talk about, speaking of backing tracks, I can't wait to talk about some of that.
Yeah, that'll be really cool and interesting. But yeah, the interesting, the Play the Siren did a cool set. I think, they had those, issues, I think, learning to be on stage a little bit, because they've mostly been, in practice rooms, practicing, their lines and stuff like that. But I think this is their early showcase, and I think I'm hoping, like we said when we first talked about, Casper's a bit of awkwardness. Top was super awkward when he first started back in the day, and now he's a baller, and now he has absolute confidence. But I think,
I mean,
that confidence will grow over
Top
time.
Was very like Top used to be very like skittish about, doing certain things and how he was, how he kind of went about certain stuff. But now he knows, like, oh, dance part's coming up. I'm going to go hide behind these backup dancers. All right, my part's coming up. I'm going to bust my ass to the front of the stage and rap. Oh, dance part coming again? Watch me fucking
scamper on back. Just scamper on back. Just scamper on back. Woo! And I think in time she'll find her place. I think every young act has their awkward phase. I imagine
and that's what this was.
Yeah, I imagine Roberto, you saw a bit of that, some of that at Japan Nite a little bit. Some young awkward acts.
Oh, I like. When it comes to Japan Nite, it's funny. This is what I've noticed. The young acts actually are way more collected on the Japanese side. Maybe it's because we see a lot of indie side. Like a couple years ago, we had this band come up called, I think it was OK Nokis. I think that's the name of the name of the band. I did look at my logs and stuff that came up. But this young kid, and you could tell that they're definitely underage. So they had the black X's. I think they're like in their teens, to be honest. This kid comes up, literally starts dancing like Mick Jagger, rocking out hardcore like it was a Rolling Stones concert, and god damn it if they didn't own the stage.
Yeah.
So, though we see, it's funny because you guys like to talk about the pop side, I guess because, Japan Nite, when we start getting more, if we're in our discussion right now, Japan Nite, I'll go into it, but if we're still in the headlines,
we'll get into that, but we get the young and the old, you get the different sides of everything.
This year we definitely got young and old, and I can't wait to talk about some of the old bands that were there.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about that because it's going to be interesting. And also, we saw some different acts there as well. We got to see not only Play the Siren, but we got to see a couple of different style acts. We got to see bands like Wasted Johnnies, which is a really cool like bluesy rock band with a chick lead singer, guitarist, and like she impressed me really well with like her stage presence and like their energy, and they were really cool. And on top of that, we had a couple other acts. Shinchon Tigers. The Shinchon Tigers were really cool. It was a lead singer / trombonist, guitarist, backup vocals, and the drummer, and I believe a bassist as well. And they had really cool like humorous stage presence. They got the crowd into it. I don't know if the crowd were initiated, but it seemed like they got an uninitiated crowd into the performance, and they did a good job with it. And they did have a moment at the end, which was kind of cool and hilarious and clever, where they were kind of secretly egging on the crowd to beg for an encore. Kind of the lead singer gave him like a little like a hand signal, like, hey, come on, like a little like, hey, go ahead. It's like, and like, encore, like, oh, hey, they want an encore. Hey, you hear that? Yeah. And Shindong, by the way, this being emceed by Shindong, and Shindong being the baller that he is, he goes, you guys want an encore? Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. No. Yeah, that's cool. Like, thank you guys. Yeah, move on. Next act.
Yeah. No, we don't have time for that shit. And you don't really want it.
Yes.
Moving on. Have them executed.
And it had a bunch of really cool groups like H-Lin performed really well, Ezen, and a couple of other acts. And it was a good showcase. I think it's a young independent label that I think could make some headway, and I think could make some noise as a indie label. And being invested in by SM is gonna give them a lot of capital to work with. It might also make them part of the Third Reich of K-pop, but still, it would give them plenty of capital to work with.
There are 3 kingdoms, and if you do not belong to one,
what are the 3 kingdoms?
YG, JYP, and SM.
Yes.
Okay.
There are
4 kingdoms.
YG. Okay, I can easily explain these for you and give you preference.
Hold on. Before you continue, Brandon, relate them to World War II powers. go.
No. I can easier relate them to American.
No, American. It's got to be World War II
No, this
powers.
is going to be harder. This is going to be harder.
Exactly why.
YG.
Okay.
World War II.
Yes.
Powers,
so
right?
We can go over it. We have the
SM is
the Germans. We got the Japanese.
No, SM is more.
We got the Italian.
SM is more maybe the Italians. I don't know.
No. I will give SM like no, because the Italians were okay, but
yes, Mussolini was totally fine, and fascism was awesome.
No, I mean, like they're okay, but it was just like they're the Italians. Like get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're like move on.
At the end of the day, they kept the trains running on time. Is what you're saying,
right? Okay. YG is the Americans because they make a lot of promises and they seem really powerful, but they show up late to fights.
Okay, so we're joining.
You're coming, late. Right? You're coming. Yeah, no. We're going to be there on Wednesday. All right, we've been fighting for 3 months now. We met Wednesday 2 years from now.
I got you. Okay.
Right. JYP is Germany.
Okay, so this is a
lot of great ideas. Their executions sometimes a little fucked up. Like,
sounds.
Hey. Taxes are bad. Yeah, let's kill Germans. Whoa, and Jews. Wait, hold on.
Wow. Okay,
I don't think I signed up for that part. I signed up for the taxes part.
Now, whoa.
This was all covered. Yeah. This was all covered in the fucking pamphlet. I didn't get a pamphlet.
What would you compare the plastic pants to?
The plastic pants?
They're Poland.
The plastic pants are the gas chambers.
Yes.
Oh damn! not even trying to figure out who they could be.
No. The plastic pants are specific JYP's plastic pants. They're an article that belong to JYP. And
nobody thought the plastic pants were good, but nobody was gonna tell JYP that the plastic pants weren't good. So everybody was like, sticking a bunch of people in a gas chamber with their whole family is kind of fucked up. Are you gonna tell them that? Nah, bro. Next. Get in there. Go ahead. I'm not gonna fucking tell them that.
And then
SM is Japan because they are fucking on point. You're like, all right, Tuesday we gotta formulate an attack. All right, we will attack on Monday. No. Okay.
We'll attack on Monday. They kind of go all out, and they kind of have very regimented.
But, did you kill 700 of your own soldiers? Yes. Why?
They were dishonorable.
I think they took a dark turn, and I couldn't be happier.
That was the attack. And you're like, you killed 700 of your own soldiers. We'll get more. Okay. You know what? I ain't gonna question it.
Yeah.
Hail the Emperor.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The Emperor. I forget Japanese.
I'm sorry if anybody's offended by Korean and comparing any Korean to Japan, or especially empirical Japan. Let's
go down
especially
the list.
considering
we've insulted.
Well, I think comparing any Korean to Japan, considering Japan systematically tried to destroy their culture, especially compared.
Let's go down a list of things we offend of how we offended people.
Because they not only
the hood of Korea. We've compared Korean bands to World War II powers and called one of them Nazis.
No. The bigger insult was the bigger insult was comparing one of them to empirical Japan. Like I said, they systematically tried to destroy their culture and comfort women.
This is not me saying like Japan is good or bad or anything like that. I think comparing the Nazis is far fucking worse.
To the Koreans.
No, and I understand
but
that.
Not to the Koreans.
No.
To the Koreans.
I think
that would be the bigger insult.
I think some Koreans would say gas chamber pants is pretty hardcore, guys.
No, they would be more.
I'm fairly certain.
Considering they have a lower approval rating of the Prime Minister of Japan right now than they do of Kim Jong-un.
Well, that's because they're near him. He can actually hurt them.
Yeah, no.
He actually has
You
that.
also
He actually
haven't
can
seen
kill
the plastic pants.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
You haven't seen
Let's dive away from this. You know, as if as a grenade going off, we roll for half damage.
Yeah. The plastic pants are a sight to be seen, to say.
Yeah.
Yes. But moving on to less evil, more delightful news. Orange Caramel, in all of their glory, have released a new single. See, I have to admit, I'm not as familiar with Orange Caramel as I'd like to be. And that is a sad thing. Because they seem to be a very fascinating, really cool group that I think really have a lot to offer musically. They're a very interesting group, very interesting musically. But and of course they're one of the biggest groups out there after school. But they released Catalina, which it has them pretending to be sushi and then eating themselves and then crying about it. Did you get a chance to check them out or check out the video?
I checked out. Yeah, I checked it out, and I put this in the new subset of like trying to be the kind of funny poppy thing that's going on now, kind of the thing that Lip Service did in their video. I'm trying to think who else has kind of done the funny poppy thing. Like Girls' Generation has done it before, like, you know, but it seems to kind of be becoming a bigger thing to kind of be silly or whatever. And I wonder if it's kind of morphed as a YouTubeification since, you know, Gangnam Style and other things that were more silly poppy have become popular.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is it... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Yeah, I see that. But go ahead, Villegas. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is it because you bring up Gangnam Style? You know, is it Gangnam Style?
Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style. Thank you. I just forgot to pronounce it, to be honest. You mentioned the whole YouTube thing, and I have to ask that: is that now a common trend in Korean pop to try to?
It always has been.
Well, because Gangnam Style was such an anomaly. Like, it truly was an anomaly in terms of a lot of Asian rock and a lot of Asian kind of music in general. Yes, there's always been that undertone within in Japanese culture when it comes to anime and things like that. But Gangnam Style like exploded into the mainstream somehow. And I wonder, is it because, I mean, the music's good, don't get me wrong. The music, the beat was tight, the hook was great, it was a good song, people could dance to it, whatever. But I wonder if it was just more of an anomaly, and like that's pretty much all it's going to be.
I don't know. It's always going to be an attempt to if they can't make it in the West, it's at least to kind of get some YouTube views, get some word out there, and always the goal is mainly Asia at first, but yeah, get some views, get some word out.
Here's kind of the vision path that happens, right? And this also goes back to the big three that we just talked about. For when kind of the current scene of kind of Korean pop music got popular, it was kind of set by the trend of JYP and YG. YG took the stance of making their boy groups more centered around kind of what boy groups. Well, no, I mean, JYP made their boy groups more centered around what boy groups here used to be, kind of very standard, like, oh, this boy is this boy is this boy is that. Whereas YG has this very hood rap kind of P. Diddy bad boy appeal to it, right? So it's very like rap, and like some of the videos are really gritty and hard and hood and shit like that.
Right.
And they were the ones who used to get a lot of views. So now, when everybody makes kind of a boy sing rap group, it's made in the sense of YG. JYP then also followed this. They got really popular stuff like this. Then a lot of the like kind of silly thing started to get really popular and a lot of views on YouTube or whatever. So
partially Crayon Pop helped that with Ba 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 and things like that.
Yeah. Then bring in somebody like Psy, who's that's more his medium. YG artist. They set that up. They follow. They knock down. Boom. They get the hit.
Also, this is already apparently. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Then you have other people kind of try to follow suit and making more funny, silly music videos with comedians, because in the more sense, Psy is considered a musical comedy act than an musical artist. You know.
Okay.
That didn't really resonate or whatever. The group Petey just mentioned, Crayon Pop, got a big giant hit with one of their videos of being very silly and outside of the like
fun,
cute
positive
girl
silly.
or super sexy girl. Like they just went really silly and things like that. And that's what they have continued to do. And their shit is on a rise outside of Korea now. So now you take all the other groups that are going to come, right? Well, and then there's two divergence for girl groups, right? You either go super hood because there is a girl in one group from FX, which is not on one of the big three.
Called SM. Yeah, they're SM.
Oh, okay. They're SM. So they are one of the big three. I forgot. You take this girl who is from America, mind you, and a Korean American.
Chinese American, actually.
Chinese American?
Yep, Chinese American went to Korea. It's not uncommon because well, we can talk about how the system is different and better in Korea, and therefore it's better avenue.
Very, 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 very tomboyish, right?
Very tomboy.
Along the lines of a lot of rumors,
yes.
Right? And she's really popular, you know? So now every girl group, a separate set of girl groups have come out with all tomboys in their group or whatever.
So,
and then you have the other who follow the Crayon Pop idol of being really silly and goofy and doing ridiculous things in their videos and having comedians in their videos.
Yeah.
And now you start to see a lot of the faces that you saw in the like in the Gangnam Style video or in the other video me and Petey talked about a couple of weeks ago that got a big hit for being another comedian doing a musical style video, you know, thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and though to be fair, I think from what I've seen, Orange Caramel has always had this style of being kind of weird and quirky. But I think the fact that they came back now is off the heels of all that is probably not not accidental. And
no,
yeah, but it has been their signature before this has all started. But the fact that they decided, hey, let's have this, especially because they're a subunit of a bigger group that is going to have a comeback later this year, and is already planning theirs. The fact that they're coming out with this subunit specifically is probably not a coincidence, coming off of what we talked about before. But like I said, it's a very interesting, cool video. I think it's fun. It's very disco-y, and I like that. It's a fun single, and apparently people are obsessed over them. I'm not as initiated, but apparently they're a huge thing. So all the best for Orange Caramel. But moving on, another comeback. We have our girls in 4 Minute. What I said, and let's be honest, the truth is, the Destiny's Child to Hyuna's Beyonce. Speaking of Gangnam Style, Hyuna, the female lead in that music video, some of you may know her as featured right here on the still that I'm showing on the video feed. Hyuna being, that girl that is famous for that. But 4 Minute being famous on their own as well as a group. They come back with What You Doing Today, their new music video. And it's interesting. Did you get a chance? Because this dropped like today. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I watched some of it on my phone, and then I watched the rest of it just now before we started recording. And I kind of put it along the lines of kind of being the silly pop thing that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Because it has kind of a silly appeal to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of focus on Hyuna in this video too.
Oh yeah.
Like, goddamn, if your reference that you made is not starting to like formulate as the God word of you're just like, we know she popular, and we gonna make sure that you know she popular.
Yeah.
These other bitches at this point,
yeah,
it's just background dancers.
Yeah. Yeah. And though they did have moments in and of themselves, the other gals, and especially Ji-yoon, I think. Again, I don't know any of their names. I think one of them is Bahyun and one of them is Ji-yoon, I think, something like that. She's sitting on the toilet rapping. Just sitting on the toilet, shorts around her ankles, just rapping with a bunch of background dancers huddled around the stall. And to the point where it seems like they would like, hey, Ji-yoon, we need to do your rap part. Like, hold on. I have some bad burritos. I'm going to be here for a while. It's like, are you going to be there long? Like, the deadline's up. We have to shoot it now. It's like, I don't know. Just come in here. I'll shoot it here. It's like, just shoot it here. It's like, all right, I remember a part. Like, bunch of random parts. You were about to say, Roberto.
That sounds disturbingly Asian.
Yes.
Like that sound like I don't mean that like this is not even saying anything bad about Japan and Korea. We have some fucked up things here in the United States as well. But what you just described sounds very, very like
they have bathroom humor. They appreciate the bathroom humor. I think over there. And some cutie.
Yes, a lot more than necessarily here in the States. But that doesn't mean we in the States don't like a good fart joke either.
Yeah. But it's still
I also probably should work at a career.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course we're talking all about the video, and it's a crazy video. There's a lot of colors, a lot of craziness. There's quite a bit of sexiness, especially with Hyuna. She's got all of her cleavage all up in the screen sometimes. Because you know what, you have Hyuna, she's got those boobs. Might as well do that. But at the end of the day, also the song is okay. That's the funny thing. Is like this crazy video. This is like all these visuals, and the song's kind of just okay. Like it's good. I jammed to it a little bit, but I don't know. It didn't blow me out of the water. Did you get a strong impression on the song itself?
I love 4 Minute, and this song is good, and it's going into my rotation.
Yeah.
And I want more 4 Minute, which is funny because I have 4 Minute stuff, but I don't have any of Hyuna's solo stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I just thought of this. G-Dragon is, for all intents and purposes, the hottest rapper in I hate saying that in Korea at the moment, right? I think we're gonna have to put them together to complete this Beyonce thing.
Yeah. We're gonna have to make a pairing. We're gonna have to make our own OTP. Or 1-1-2 pair. Are we gonna? We're gonna have to figure out the name for it, because I know you gotta. And then we have to make a Tumblr. The key thing, we're gonna have to make up a name, and then we're gonna have to make a Tumblr where we post a bunch of vaguely suggestive gifs that might suggest that they're a couple, and pictures and stuff like that, where they're like maybe near each other and slightly glance at each other, and we go, "Look, they're destined for each other." So that's something we're gonna have to make a project out of. But moving on to another imminent comeback. Speaking of Crayon Pop, Crayon Pop is going to come back apparently with what's been floated about is traditional outfits. I think something about what's been speculated is something about hanboks, the Korean traditional Korean clothing, which is fascinating. There's been some pictures leaked about some elaborate farmer looking outfits with like rubber boots, and I'm in. Because I think one of the best things about Crayon Pop is that the silly outfits are just so much fun. And on top of the fact that they're gonna work with the guy that did Bing Bing and Dancing Queen, which are two songs that I absolutely love and actually think are superior to their like hit single Ba Ba Ba, and I think they're fantastic songs. and they're gonna work with the people that they worked with, Dumb and Dumber, I believe, the production crew. And I think this is gonna be a really good comeback, and it's gonna be a full album, I believe. So that's gonna be cool. You're not as you're not as entrenched in the crayon pop as I am. I'm about to go full pop Jashi.
No, like I like them, and their songs are catchy, and the girls are nice to look at. But I don't know. Like I said, like I think right now for me, the newer group that has caught my eye is GI for me.
Yeah,
I like the tomboy girl thing.
Yes,
and One Cat, and
yeah. Yeah, One Cat. I gotta love One Cat, but I think it should be fun, and I think having the interesting outfits is going to be cool, and I love Crayon Pop, and I love Dancing Queen and Bing Bang, and they're going to be really cool songs, so I think this song is going to be really good, but I'm anticipating, so all the best for Crayon Pop, and we will talk about it when it comes out, and I'm excited for that. Alright, so last headline, this headline is more, I guess another one that is more related to me, though actually it could be related to you as well, Brandon. They finally announced details, like official announcement details for Block B's visit to the U.S. And this is the one where I've been talking about that they're going to come to Miami. They're going to come to Miami, Washington, D.C., and New York. New York is obviously the official standby. And they announced tickets. So there's going to be various levels. And then Block is going to be Block C level for most of the concerts, except for the Miami ones. Block B, Block A, VIP, and VVIP. So Block B and above, well, VIP, VVIP. Block B and above get high touch passes. And apparently that's like a meet and greet pass. I don't know what high touch necessarily entails. If it's a high five, yeah, I'm in for a high five, but
I think high touch is high five.
Okay, good. Cause, I'm in for a high five.
If I remember correctly, but you guys will also remember, I was drunk as fuck, and I was walking through the streets of Wonju, and I had my hand up, and I was like, fuck yeah, bro. And I remember hearing high touch a lot, right?
Did you look down and see if somebody was touching you?
I'm not that tall.
You sure there wasn't a little bit of a little cupping action going on then?
No.
I mean, they're handsome boys, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with any kind of other high touch. But high five, I mean,
yeah.
So,
as far as like ticket costs, apparently it's going to be $80 for like the base ticket, $110 for Block A, $170 for for VIP, $220 for VVIP. It's a little rich for my blood, possibly.
Wait, VVIP. Which one gives you the high touch and the reach around?
VVIP. I'm gonna say
that.
And by reach around, I think it's fan sign. You get something signed.
Oh, well, that's nice.
You get something signed, but this is gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be a cool showcase, and I think it's gonna be. They're a cool group. I don't know if I'm gonna go, and I just wanted to say I think this is going to be my plan. So the tickets go on sale on the 22nd. March 22nd. So this Saturday. So they go on sale this Saturday. I get paid the following Friday.
High touch, high fiving. I just had to look. Yes. I had to look.
So I get paid on the following Friday. I don't think I'm gonna buy the ticket then. I think I'm going to wait the 3 weeks to like the other paycheck. And if tickets aren't sold out then, I might pick up a ticket, Block B, and just to go see them, just to get that, at least get that ticket bought. Cause what I'm hoping for is just that the best thing for, not necessarily for people that maybe miss out, for me if I had really wanted to see it, and my hope is that it sells out immediately. Like it sells out within minutes, the Miami show. Because specifically, and I imagine y'all know where I'm going with this. Specifically, I want it to happen so that like K-pop companies go like, whoa, Miami is a place to go for K-pop. Like, and then that might start the ball rolling.
That wannabe fucking Big Bang with more members fucking sold out Miami. Why don't we send actually established groups there?
Yeah.
That was rude.
That was rude. Block B is a pretty cool group. Damn it.
Okay, all right, hold on. Open the fucking link back up from
I know.
and look at the dude in the red. Tell me he does not want to be top. He wants to be.
I was thinking more
he's like
GD.
trying.
I was thinking more GD.
Well, yeah, in that picture, he looks like GD, but when he raps, he sounds like top. He's so trying to like be one half of goddamn Big Bang by himself that it's goddamned.
Yeah, but and I understand because they're still a really cool group, and they're not necessarily one that is one of my huge like groups. Like I love Big Bang way more than I would say be excited about this group, but they're still a cool group. But like I said, if the sells out in Miami, it'll tell other labels, bigger labels that, you know, hey, we could sell in Miami. You have a feeling with that. You probably have a sense of that, Roberto, of like trying to send the message that groups can come this way, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's when it comes to, because the thing is that everybody, when it comes to any foreign acts in general, whether it be from Japan, England, or whatever, the thing is that the fear comes of who actually knows who they are.
Yeah.
And that, because everyone wants to break out in the West. Not because the West is better, and that just, it's another market, it's another venue, people buy music, you know, who cares? We want to break out everywhere, whether it be England or whatever, any band does, because, you know, that's their lifeblood, is money and all that stuff. So, it's tricky for a lot of foreign bands. I say that in general just because that's not just unique to Korea or Japan or the, you know, Asian nation, so to speak. That's also when it comes to European bands, when it comes to England bands. I mean, if we think back in the, you know, way back in like the early days of sort of rock music, I mean, the British, you know, the whole British invasion, you know, the Beatles coming out stateside was kind of a crazy sort of fluke.
Yeah.
Because there are other bands that kind of did the same thing, but.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's definitely understandable for a bigger group because they have a lot of things that they have to pay, like just flight tickets for all the staff that they would need to spend.
Oh God.
They have managers, for makeup artists.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky, especially for pop acts, because it's like pop acts are one of those weird things that require a big stage.
Yeah.
And to get access to a big stage, you have to already have that draw. And sometimes you don't have, unless
it's South by Southwest, where there's already a base for, you know, that is specifically built for music showcases, like that.
This is true.
Yeah. All right. So, speaking of South by Southwest, we're going to transition. I'm going to come up with some kind of transition song, you know, singer to the South by Southwest and Japan Nite and more. So see you on the flip side. All right,
so,
we're back.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So this is the main reason Roberto has joined us tonight.
You just invite me just to be just color commentary and like bring, you know, offend an entire nation, a country, if you will.
No, I can do that on my own.
Okay.
You've met me.
That's true. Yeah, it's the I'm talking to.
So part of the main reason we brought Roberto here is because he was our official man on the street for South by Southwest Japan Nite, and Roberto's gonna kind of take the reins a little bit, explain to us what South by Southwest is, explain to us what he saw. Well, not South by Southwest, but Japan Nite
like we got a long like,
because if we explain South by Southwest,
let me go back a few years into the past.
Well, let's see here. Back in 1994.
So, I can explain I can explain South by Southwest. Pretension. But moving on to Japan Nite.
Oh.
It's
pretense.
I'll keep my South by Southwest. But to kind of explain what, for those who have no idea what Japan Nite is, sort of explain, it kicked off actually back in 1996. It's hosted by Audrey of Ben 10 Records. Ben 10 Records, sort of a indie label there in Japan. And pretty much, it's sort of a U.S. tour of the craziest bands out of Japan. And I say craziest bands because there have been, over the years, so many weird types of acts. One of the ones I referenced recently now was, I think a couple of years ago, we had a bluegrass band called Saito Johnny. So that already in of itself, a Japanese bluegrass group, is already weird. But the fact of the matter is, they then later on that night played a bluegrass cover of Daft Punk's One More Time.
Yes.
And god damn it if that wasn't the highlight of that year.
Yeah.
So Japan Nite's a sort of weird kind of macro kind of fun sort of event that if you know about it, you go every year. If you don't know about it and you hear about it and you go that year, you go every year afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain. It's mainly because that. But this year we had a couple of, for me it was kind of a weird sort of thing since I saw all the bands both at Japan Nite and other kind of events. I won't really go into detail the other events, but I can go at least the acts we had. This is the weirdest year for me because this is actually the first year we had an idol group. It's actually the first idol group to be on a South by Southwest event.
Like a Japan Nite,
Star.
Yeah.
Well, just in general, they're the only act ever. It's Star Marie, and there are 3 girl J-pop idol group.
Yeah.
And they're a J-pop idol group. We're talking, you know what we were talking about earlier about backing tracks and things like that.
Yeah. I would say the first idol group officially was FX last year, but yeah, Japan idol group. Yes.
Let's just say it just was. How do I best explain it? God damn it! If it was like, okay, the younger Robert for sure would have been angry at this and J-pop, angry. The current Robert is at least accepting of it. Mm-hmm. But god damn it, if they didn't have like backing tracks, like we were talking about earlier about you, I think you mentioned Brandon, some other artist that was like barely singing over her backing track.
Yeah.
On her microphone. This is Star Marie to like a T. Like you'd hear like hints of them saying vocals, but then you hear the strong backing vocal of like, oh, they've got something else going on there. But it was a funny night. I mean, ultimately, anyone that was in that band got really into it. We did have an older Japanese gentleman doing all the idol dance moves and things like that.
That's what they attract the uncle fans in Korea and Japan. The uncle fans are hilarious.
But it was like, okay,
like I said,
we talk about stereotypical.
Yeah.
Like if I say highlights of my night, like that show wouldn't have been as fun without that guy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because it would be like, oh god, but that guy was like he was into it.
Yeah, and when I can say, and it's a funny thing, we're talking about idols and backing tracks. The group that I love, that I talk about a lot, that I'm a fan of, just out of pure joy, Sunya Shide, aka Girls' Generation, they lip sync every freaking performance. Like they're just they lip sync every performance, and barely a few of them can sing. And a few of them can sing immensely, and they're amazing. Taeyeon is a fantastic voice. Jessica, and Tiffany are fantastic voices. But yeah, they lip sync a lot.
there was, like I said, there was so much. But anyways, let me go over the bands for Japan Nite proper one. I already talked about Star Marie, the idol act. We then had Jungles from Red Bacteria Vacuum, sort of this weird punk act. I'm not the biggest fan of Red Bacteria Vacuum. It's hard for me to say that name. But the people love them. And they RBV has been past Japan Nites previously, and so them kind of coming back with their own sort of thing was kind of interesting. The next act was Mayu Wakasaki, which was very weird because, Japan Nite always usually has some off-center kind of band. A couple years back, it was Omadaka, kind of with chiptunes, things like that. Prior to that, I mentioned I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, Chihiro Yamazaki and plus Route 14 band, the Jazz Act. This year we had this sort of weird, kind of very heartfelt, I don't know how to explain it, kind of somber music. It's gorgeous, and she has a beautiful singing voice and a beautiful keyboard style, and the music's great. The lyrics are very heartfelt, but it's very, very somber and very, very low key. It's not necessarily high energy kind of rock, but damn it if it wasn't gorgeous, and damn it if it wasn't beautiful.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of want to hear something a bit softer on that side, I definitely recommend.
Yeah, something more
her.
you would play at like a cafe, I imagine.
Kind of more the kind of thing it kind of you play, to drift yourself to sleep. Because like the opening stuff, she's playing on a xylophone, like not a xylophone. I forget what the metal xylophone is. Maybe it's metal xylophone. I forget the damn name of it. Instruments per se.
Yeah.
But anyways, she came in. We then had Happy, which is, I think the way that it's described was like, the Who inspired kind of things. It's something weird about the younger generation in Japan, at least the younger indie acts. Because this isn't the first time I've had a younger act that reminds me of like, rock from the 70s and things like that. But they definitely played a lot more rocking kind of sound. They definitely had keyboards. It felt very much, your traditional kind of rock music, and they definitely own the crowd. From what I understand, they have as at least at this point now, they haven't really premiered in Japan. They've kind of been in Japan and sort of been on the underground, but they haven't really premiered any full album, and actually made their push to the United States first.
They're also really hard to Google.
Damn it, they are. I'll give you a link to them. I think it's like a band called Happy, or a band Happy on Twitter. Yeah. Let me see.
I'll look it up when I can. But
it's happyofficial.com is where you go to pull up their site. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of look at their first singles and things like that, and get some of their video and profile there in glorious Japanese, if you can, of course, read it. We then happen to have, like we're talking about how, the young and the old. We literally had a really old group, which I had no idea existed, called Sentimental City Romance. It's actually been playing since 1973.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they've actually, and they're like a southern rock group. Like the last time they came to the United States was like 74 and shit. And they had a very much if I were related to U.S. bands, like a Creedence Clearwater Revival kind of sound, very much southern rock and roll from that era.
They certainly look like it.
Yeah, they look like it. They looked like awesome. I loved them. They were definitely fun. And they were one of the few bands that actually have, if you know anything about Japanese music, specifically buying Japanese CDs, they actually brought a real Japan CD complete with that. And though I paid $15, if you can kind of look at the screen there, it's kind of hard to read, but it's about $30 in yen. Nice. And it comes from Sony Music Direct Japan Inc. So it was kind of a treat for them to bring it. So you could tell that they were, for lack of better words, a real band.
Yeah.
Not saying that none of the other bands were, but it's very rare for anyone to bring a 2-disc set, let alone one from Sony Direct, let alone for $15 that matter. So it's kind of a interesting sort of mix. We then closed out the night with probably the weirdest act to describe, and that's Mother Coat. It's hard to describe them because they're like this electronica kind of stuff. Like it's almost as, to kind of relate to other. It's hard to really pinpoint what genre they are.
Yeah.
But damn it if they weren't awesome. It's very weird. It's very strange. And it may take some people a little bit more time to get into. If they're not used to having kind of an electronic looping kind of action in there with guitars and keyboards and things like that mixed in, and some really heavy post-processing effects every so often. But if you're used to that kind of music and you're kind of used to that sort of industrial sound almost, but not like it's sort of industrial-esque, you'll dig them. I dug them a lot.
I definitely dig the attaching the pop filter to your guitar rather than to the microphone, which is very interesting.
Strange. It was strange. Japan Nite usually for me is a crapshoot. It could either be a really good year, really a mediocre year, or a totally awesome year. I tend to go in there blind with certain bands. This year, probably the weirdest part of it was the fact I got to listen to all the bands before Japan Nite premiered. There were two kind of pre-Japan events. What we as Japan Nite people have called the pre-show and the preview show. The first thing was the Meet Japan event, which is supposed to have been something entirely different, but turned into a pre-show for Japan Nite. It had pretty much Happy was there, Star Marie was there. That was when I first saw them. Mother Coat was there, and a couple other bands as well. I think there was like a really good punk act. Which, I'm not looking at the names of the bands. It was Genzin, which means like mountain crusher or mountain destroyer or something like that in Japanese. And they were like a hardcore punk sound for sure. After that came the actual preview show proper, which had a lot of Japanese acts. So for me, it was a weird kind of thing in that. But I guess the highlight for me wasn't actually even a Japan Night event proper. It was actually last year we had her come on. Chihiro Yamazaki, I mentioned earlier up at the beginning of the show. She was playing a show at the Elephant Room before Japan Night that I told myself I wasn't going to miss. And goddamn if it wasn't an awesome show. So much so I actually brought my friend Martin Thomas, like I mentioned earlier, up kind of describing what he saw. It was his actually first time seeing the band. I knew he was going to like it, but he really loved it. It was sort of a really, really good jazz act to see. It was a very weird year for me because we had the clash of Star Marie, the very much traditional Japanese pop idol act and following all the kind of tropes you'd imagine for them, mixed in with a lot of this sort of weird indie stuff. And it felt weird because a lot of the, people got into Star Marie for sure, but a lot of the people who didn't get into them, you could tell, you could tell that they were a lot, like, people got way more into the other acts from Japan Night, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely, I see the variety and I always love the variety of these showcase shows. Like, anytime you can get this many, like, this one place where lots of bands are going to crowd into one location, it's always cool to kind of see the diversity of those kind of things. What would be some of the highlights of some other highlights of the other variety shows, like the other random side shows?
Oh God, this is gonna be tough. I mean, because the highlights it's tough because it's hard to say. Oh, the highlights of this. I would say the other highlights for me might have been the other highlight band for me probably was a Japanese act called Starbeam. They were, I think their tagline is that they're hardcore for the 21st century or something like that. And they're, you can kind of tell. If anyone like for me, the joke I always give is that if it's a punk act, I usually latch on them quicker than the other act. But they were this weird kind of like very much punk and hardcore punk at the same time. It was a good kind of blend of music, and you could tell they're very tight. Like it's to explain kind of the highlights for me. A lot of it is pretty much, almost what happens at the events. If I were to say, like, the highlight for the Meet Japan event, I would say it was the circle pit that formed during Gozen, because there had never really been a pit event at Japan Night. And it's not to say that we've never had punk bands, per se. We've had Lolita 18, was sort of a classic, sort of old school punk band. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of punk acts before, but never has a pit ever formed. And this was like the first kind of pit I saw in any Japanese event, and damn it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But other kind of highlights, I would definitely say Happy was a surprise, because I didn't necessarily know what they were. I didn't know any of them, but whenever you hear, references to the Who thrown in there and things like that, I kind of get a little off-put because it seems like almost marketing. Yeah. But yeah, no, they definitely, they're definitely pretty tight. They definitely were pretty good at their act, and they knew exactly how to kind of control the stage. Yeah. And such. A lot of the Japanese bands, this past year, I think, I know that they had, earlier that week, Moment of Silence at the, Meet Japan there, the trade show for the whole, tragedy that happened a couple years ago, the whole tsunami. But even at Japan Night, because we actually had a kind of a very disturbing thing happen at South by, sort of this weird accident where 2 people were killed by a certain driver, and you can look up all those details on other things. A lot of the Japanese acts had said that they were playing in memory of them, kind of thing. It's sort of everyone says that in general, but some other kind of fun stuff. But overall, it was maybe not the best Japan Night year for sure, but definitely not a disappointing one. Yeah. And of course, for those who are like, oh man, I missed it. I can't get to Texas. Japan Night tours around the States. The next kind of screening coming up, you can actually go to japan-nite.com, and see if they're coming around your area. They go through Georgia, Chicago, Georgia, Illinois, Ohio, Nevada, and Las Vegas. And they end their tour in San Francisco, California. But so they might, if they come near your area, go check them out. Oh yeah, definitely. All the bands that played were awesome. overall.
Yeah, always go see live music, especially if you can support groups that are making the effort to fly the entire half of the world to come show you what they have to offer. They put forth that effort. Go ahead and see if you can check them out and give them a chance.
Also, make sure to bring cash. A lot of people don't necessarily understand that Japan is still a very, very cash culture.
Mm-hmm.
And they have yet, and I'm not sure if it's for legal reasons or if it's for just that they don't like it so much. They don't really have any of those Square card readers. So make sure you bring cash.
I think it's just being abroad. Being abroad, maybe it's easier for them to take cash.
For sure, but yeah, definitely bring cash to buy the CDs because that. Make sure you bring a good amount, especially if you like all the bands, and be ready to get that because usually you can't find a lot of stuff on iTunes, and it's really hard to import some of the stuff as well.
Yeah. So, and aside from the Japan Night, also we were hoping to hear at least from secondhand if you had any reports on what people said about the Korean stuff because they know they had. This is the second year that they had the K-pop night. Yep. They also had a good amount of Korean indie music, fantastic bands like Glenn Check and Love X Stereo, and a few others that y'all should check out because they're fantastic. I love Love X Stereo. I love you, Annie. But you had some reports from people that went to those shows.
Of course I do. I have a friend of mine who I'll probably talk more about on my podcast. We usually have him every year after Japan Night. Jonathan McNamara, writer for Rock Out Japan, or his podcast is Nihongaku Radio. Usually he tends to write about the Japanese side, but ever since the Korean side started coming in, he's been writing about that as well. And he started up a Facebook group of like Texas Asian music fans and kind of keeps everybody. He's one of those few people that keeps me in the loop for who's coming and when they're coming and how like that. So whenever P-Landers E comes on through town, it's usually hear from him. So Jonathan went there and kind of gave me the sort of details about the night itself. It happened at Elysium, the same area or same actual venue that Japan Night happens. In contrast to what Japan Night does, from what I understand, K-pop Night is funded by the Korean government, and it shows. Apparently, they had not only a long line kind of waiting for it, but apparently in between sets, which were like 30-minute breaks, they had music videos playing on TV screens. They really pushed Korean culture in your face there. I've always wanted to go. I had a prior engagement that, and like I said, I'll get more details from Jonathan when I have him on my show. Just because he'll give me kind of the rundown. But from what I understand, it was a big kind of spectacle kind of night, versus Japan Night, sort of less spectacle and more kind of underground kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's sort of weird to explain that. But the indie event also was really good. I heard, like I said, all the bands were great. For the indie night, mainly because the tricky part about Japan, about the South by in general. Mm-hmm. You can never go to everything, ever.
No.
You can't. You have to understand that. And I feel bad because I really did want to go. Because even apparently during the P-Lander Z-Fest on Friday, like before Japan Night kicked off, apparently a Taiwanese like rock band was playing.
Yeah.
And there's been a whole slew of things coming on.
Yeah.
And that. But I did hear that the K-pop night much like last year, did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, the whole Korean government being involved because they very much are helping the not only with some helping out the companies, but they are pretty much relying on Hallyu, the Korean wave, to work their public relations. The South Korean government, their public relations outside and globally. And they're certainly going to support it.
They support it a lot more than the Japanese government has. I could say that because even the Meet Japan event.
Yeah, because they're not involved with that. Yeah.
Well, no, it was weird because the Meet Japan event was supposed to have been like a combination of music and DJs and like IT companies pitching things, but it just slowly turned into a almost just another show.
Yeah.
And, you could tell it was because there's like free beer and things like that. It was a very weird feel. It wasn't exactly what I expected to be.
Yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed because I kind of wanted that sort of meet and greet kind of event.
Yeah.
That we haven't gotten in a while.
Yeah.
The Japanese side.
But yeah, it's definitely interesting and I'm looking forward because, this time I didn't get to make it out to South Fla, though I'd been, the last couple of weeks, last couple of years, I'd been, mostly to Interactive, but I do plan, hopefully next time to actually make a plan to actually expand my time there, and not just for the chat room stuff, but actually stick around for the music stuff and Japan Night. So,
well, because I think you would probably enjoy, like, K-pop Night would be wasted on me. Like, I would go there saying, oh, okay, those are fun acts and things like that. But you'd go saying, oh my God, it's these acts. I remember you told me beforehand, you're like, dude, if you can make it, try to go to these acts here because they're playing. Yeah. You'd ask me to, and I got a friend of mine to pick up the CDs for Love Exterior. You were like really, you knew the bands coming down the Korean side. And I think that would have been a blast and a half night for you.
Yeah, and I would say the Korean indie night, I think you would have dug really well.
Oh, I probably would have, and like I said, I feel bad that I missed it. I literally had to go to a friend's show that night. Yeah. That I couldn't miss.
But yeah,
and if I missed it,
yeah, and I know for sure I would have dug everything about Japan Night. Like, and I'm looking forward to checking it out.
It's a fun time had by all, regardless.
Everything except for the South by badge cost.
Yeah.
The thing is that you have to understand about South by. So here's a quick lesson for all those who do want to come to South by but can't afford a badge. This is how it rolls. If you're trying to get into Japan Night or even K-pop Night for that matter, the way it works is line up early and you'll get in pretty much for those events. Because even though they're big, they're not that big quite yet.
Yeah.
They're just big enough to bring in the crowd to fill up Elysium, and that's about it, really.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get into a bigger act, like if you're like, I want to go see Childish Gambino, that might be a bit difficult. Though I did hear Brant Hughes made it in there safely. It's always a crapshoot with the bigger acts. The smaller acts, though, it's very easy to get into. You just kind of have to know how to do it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have fun at South by without actually bothering to go to South by.
Oh, you can totally have fun, and that's an entirely different discussion for an entirely different podcast.
Yeah, that's why I've gone the past couple of years. But I look forward to it because I'm going to try to make a plan to go out there next year for Japan Night and for all the Korean stuff. I'm looking forward to that. And I will see you there next year, Roberto. But that's it for Hallyujuku. I think we had another fine episode. You had our first guest, Kaz. Mm-hmm. That's an exciting moment. Let's ask Roberto, what do you got to plug in your life?
Oh God! How about I just hit the main giant website, that being CosmicRadio.tv, my sort of weird federated podcast network thingy. Pretty much where all my content exists now, that being my so-called 8-Bit Life, Jump Point I do with Bryce Castillo on my gaming podcast, Retro Fun Time, and if all goes well, launching tomorrow, Cinematography, a podcast I'm starting to do with Brant Hughes on movies and things like that. So I guess that's the best way to promote everything I do is there. If you want to just sort of follow me personally, you can find me on Twitter at Vincent404, or just head to my kind of general contact page, rvegas.me. There you'll find sort of anything related to me, whether it be my Facebook profile, my Tumblr, things like that.
Yeah, cosmicradio.tv. Kaz, is the website done? Is the website done?
It's there. There are links on it. I need to finalize some stuff, start getting some content on there, start putting things that belong in better places, add an about page, all that stuff. But if you go there now, itneedsmoredeaths.com, we'll go to the site. It's still a temporary site, so it gives you a rudimentary login stupid thing that Squarespace does for now. But you can get links to Hallyujuku. You can get links to Shooting the Shit with Two Nerdy Black Guys. You can get links to the Twitch stream, which will also be getting a redesign as well. And then there will just be more to come.
And of course, you can follow him at King Kaz everywhere on the internet, including About Me. You can follow me at Petey Rave. I'm Petey Rave everywhere. You can follow the show at Hallyujuku. The show's site is hallyujuku.com. I know that's a hard site to remember, so I created also kpoppodcast.com. Share that with your friends, share that with everybody. Check out all the episodes on the website. Rebelli.net for this and other shows, including Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast and Record Breakers. Speaking of Record Breakers, this week is going to be an interesting Record Breakers, because we're going to be talking about Lady Gaga and art pop. So we're going to have pop music this week on Record Breakers.
Drew's mad.
That's interesting.
You'd be surprised.
You bring up.
You'd be surprised.
Make sure. let me recommend something for you. If you can try to find it, make sure to look at Lady Gaga's South by panel that she had. She had a couple keynotes.
I've seen some highlights.
There's some real. She actually has some really good comments. It's actually funny. I won't go into too much detail there, but I would recommend if you can reference that because it was kind of interesting. Definitely a lot of people went to that keynote. I know Allie did personally, Allie Spagnola.
Yeah,
and she loved it.
Yeah, so that is all over the place. Check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, on YouTube now. You can check out our video. I'm going to start putting up video versions of the podcast. You can see this episode and you can watch me create a scene in OBS live on there because I had to do it in the middle of the show while I was talking. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be interesting. But until next time, hasta los huevos. Annyeong. Fighting. All right.
P-A-P.
All right, guys. I got to get going. I got to do a meeting with Mr. Matthew Frazier, but it was a blast and a half on the show, man. I would definitely...
Tell Blender I said hello.
I will. All right, guys.
All right.
Later.
All right. Let's stop streaming. My knees hurt. Just stand up for a second. Let me kill OBS. Die, OBS, die! Alright. Let me stop.